We end up on a C triad with a D in the bass, which is a, you call an 11 chord. It's one of the many names we might have for it.
Or a C over D or something.
Peculiar nomenclature that they use in music. And that's a chord that leads to...
Okay. All right, everybody. It is Tuesday night, 10 p.m. It is time for some chord therapy. We really even haven't done much stuff on chords as much as it's overall theory, but we will get to stuff sometime. I just want to address a few things. A lot of people message me and they always throwing like comparative things out, like to Rick Beato. And what Rick Beato does is Rick Beato talks on a very technical sense, and I understand him just fine. I don't really like the way he teaches because I think he talks on the level of really just wants to talk in modes and thinks of music that way, which I don't. You can. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's definitely the more academic way, especially academic to the jazzers. But, he's a great player, and I think he has a great channel. My issue that I have with the modes is if somebody asked you to pick a number 1 through 10 and said, I'm thinking of a number 1 through 10, look under the lamp. No, I'm not going to throw any more Columbo bits out. If someone said, give me a number 1 through 10, you're not counting in your head, I want 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're not doing that. You're just thinking of a number. The number just comes to your head. You know what the numbers are. They're jumbled in your head all together. They're not linear. And I don't think linear. So when somebody says to me, we're playing in the key of C, I don't all of a sudden think, okay, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. I just know that there's no sharps and flats on anything. And I can pull out any note at any time. It does not matter. I'm not thinking about it linear. So when somebody puts it in a linear perspective, it bothers me because it seems like they're focusing on knowing the relationship between things more importantly than being able to communicate it. What I mean by that is if we took a look here on the top of this page here, we have 7 notes, and they're in all different forms. Obviously, the ones that are in blue highlight are the major forms, the green are the minor, and the red is the diminished. But if we take a look and we see that C, D, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Well, if we go to look at it from the Dorian mode or the second position, starting on the D, we have D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If we start on the third, we have E, F, G, A, B, C, D. If we start on the fourth, we have F, G, A, B, C, D, E. It doesn't matter. The notes will never change. It's the same 7 notes. And no matter how we move this around, the 7 chords that go with this scale never change either. Now, I say these to you as rules because that's how you should learn them. but they're not perfect because eventually we make a minor, harmonic minor, we make a melodic minor. And so the modes will change, the notes will change, and that becomes an issue. But I'm teaching it to you from the point of this is what 90% of the time you're going to see. Yeah, are you going to see a 9 chord with a sharp 11? Yeah, but it doesn't happen naturally in a regular scale. Now, let me explain what that is. If we look at the scale on the top, it starts C, D, E, or on the bottom, it says 7 notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Those 7 notes are your do, re, mi. So that's the major scale. So that'll sound like this. Right, everyone knows that scale. If I played that scale in F, it would be F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. That is why the key of F has 1 flat. That is B flat. But if we look next to the top scale and you see it starts with F, we don't have the B flat. We have a B natural. So that is so now the 4th note in the scale has been raised. So we call that a sharp 4, or you'll see it written as a sharp 11. So if we looked at, and I'm going to show you something here that I hope will help you understand. I just hope it's not, okay. So if we looked at the scale in the position of the 1, the 4, and the 5, right, we see that the 1 chord is a C major 7, the 4 chord is an F major 7. Hey, Chaos Music, what's happening? And then the 5 chord is going to have a flat 7. Because if we play that scale, if I play the do, re, mi scale, which I'm just going to say it's the whole, the whole half, whole half, we have this. Well, that's an F sharp. So that does not exist in the key of C. Therefore, the scale from the 5 position in C is this. And that 7th tone is flat. And that's why it's a flat 7. So if you see a major chord in a song, depending on how deep the extensions go, you can figure out the key immediately. If you see a C major 7 in a song and it's just 1 chord, you know immediately that chord is either the 1 chord or the 4 chord of the key, because that's the only place the major 7 exists. And this is going to be like somewhat what I hope eye-opening for you is that, so if you see a C major 7, you know you're either in the key of C or you're in the key of G. Because in the key of G, the C major 7 is the 4 chord. The major 7 only sits in those 2 chords. Now, both chords are not going to be the same. All right? Before I get into talking about that, they're not going to be the same, and I'll show you why. Each chord, as it says down here, 7 chords, each one's unique. Each chord has its own marker. All right? We're going to call it a marker. If we looked at up top here and saw every chord, every note as a chord, every scale up here as a chord, I can make that number, first one, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Well, that's a C major 13. C, E, G is the major triad. B is the major 7. D is the 9. F is the 11. And A is the 13. if I look at that D minor right below it in green, I could look at that as a D minor 13. So the D minor would be DFA, the dominant 7 would be a C, and then we have the 9 is the E, the 11 is the G, and the 13 is the B. Well, yeah, it used to be Mike. It used to. Well, you had two different names. Oh, hey, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. It used to be Mike's Chaos Music, didn't it? I think it changed your name. Anyway, am I going too fast for people here? Does anybody? Are we keeping up? We understanding what I'm saying so far? Oh, I don't want to show you that just yet. I'm going to show you two chords. All right. Oh, okay. But you had another name too, though, didn't you? Devils and Angels, maybe? Was that the same one? Am I losing my mind? Can somebody tell me? No, of course I knew your name, yeah. Can somebody tell me what the difference between these two chords are? C major 13 and a C 13. There's a one note difference, and I just want to see if anyone here is awake. Me. What the hell? Anybody? Bueller. Ah, there it goes. I see. Nice. Okay. Anybody? Can you tell me the difference between a C major 13 and a C 13? I will tell you this, both chords are 7-note chords. There is one note difference. Yes. Meaning what? Which old punk ass? What does that mean that it's dominant? You're right, it's dominant. Oh, yeah, I remember. I'm dealing with the memory that never forgets. What is this? Yes, that's correct. That's right. The difference is that the C major 13 is going to have a B natural, and the C 13 is a dominant chord going to have a B flat. Now, the reason why that is anytime you see a chord that says major 7, major 9, major 11, major 13, you're never going to see major 11, but major 13. What you're seeing is that word major is telling you the relationship between the 7 and the 1. And in this case, when it says major, it's telling you that it is a half step below the 1. Therefore, it is a B natural. The dominant chord is telling you that it is a whole step below the natural, and that is a B flat. Now, there's also two very important things here. Right. There's two important things here. The C major 13, can somebody tell me what key that is in? You are correct. Very good. Can somebody tell me the key that the C major 13 is in? Anybody? Bueller? Johnny thought the major Was a lady suffragette, jet. What key is the C major 13 in? All you have to do, everybody, is look in the notes. Look in the notes of the chord. They're right there. In the parentheses is every note in the scale. Are there any sharps or flats? Thank you, Billy Breeze. It's in the key of C. It is the 1 chord. There are 3 majors in every scale. The 1 chord is always going to be a C major 13. Is always going to be a major 13. No, G would have an F sharp. So the C13, what key is the C13 in? Now this should be an easy answer. What key the C13 is, because all you have to think of is what key is C the 5 of. Yes. Very good. So we have the key of C and the key of F, which is right. It's the key of F. Okay, so these are 2 chords that you would find in a major scale. The third is on the bottom here. And the third we're going to I call anyways, a C major 13 sharp 11. That is what you would see it written out in charts, jazz charts, or any type of pop chart. However, more proper the name would be a C major 9 sharp 11 13. Because they like you not to name, if there's something that's happening or altered, you stop before that and then add on the other notes. Anyways, and that chord is C, E, G, B, D, F sharp A. And now that we have an F sharp, we're in the key of G. Okay, so we can see the difference between the 1 chord and the 4 chord. They're very similar. There's one difference. There's an F sharp. The 4 has been raised. All right. The 4 has been raised and that is the 4 chord of a scale. On the C major 7, on the C major 13, nothing's changed. Now, if I said to you an F major 13, what key is that in? F major 13. Bueller. Does anybody know where the F major 13 is? What key? No, it's not. It's not B flat. Okay. Can somebody tell me where the major... If you look here, C major 13's in the key of C. Thank you, Billy Breeze. Any major 13 is going to be the key of whatever note is there. If it's a D major 13, that's in the key of D because that chord has every note in the D major scale. If it's an E major 13, it's in the key of E. If it's a B major 13, it's in the key of B. No matter what note starts a major 13 chord, it's always going to be whatever that note is, that's your key. Every time you see, if I said F major 13 sharp 11. No, let's make it harder. E major 13 sharp 11. What key are we in? E major 13 sharp 11. So not a 13. Where does the other major 7 chord come in? It's the 4 chord. So then you have to figure out, what is E the 4 of? Whatever E is the 4 of, E is the 4 to what major scale? E cannot be the 4 to E. It can't be the 4 to what it's the 1 of. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Yes. It's in the key of B because it's the 4. So if you see a chord that has a major chord that has a sharp 11, you know that's the 4 chord of the scale. You don't have to sit there and say to people, oh, that's the Lydian. Don't have to. It's the 4 chord of the scale. If it's just a major 13, it's not been affected, that's always the 1 chord. So there are 2 major 7 chords in every major scale, and that is the 1 and the 4. The 1 is not affected. It's just a major 13. The 4 has been affected. We've sharped the 4s or the 11. So we have a C major 13 sharp 11. And all that means is, to know this, if someone's playing a C major 7 chord, let's just say they're vamping on C major 7. You can play it in either key. You could play, or you could play it in the key of G. That's what the sharp 4. Okay. So I'm going to ask again, how many major 7 chords are in any key? Major 7s, how many? Bueller. I have a feeling this isn't sinking in. Wayne Bush, the answer is there are 2. It's the 1 and the 4. Yes, thank you. It's 2. It's the 1 and the 4. So in the key of C, we have a C major 7. We have an F major 7. If I extend that C major 7 out to a 13, it's going to include the D, the F, and the A. If I'm playing in the key of G and I extend it out to the 13, it's going to include the D, the F sharp, and the A. Okay? So there are 2 major 7s in every key, the 1 and the 4. The 1 is pure. Goes all the way out to a major 13, plays every note in the scale. The 1 is the 1. The 4 will have a sharp 11 or a sharp 4, whatever you want to call it. The 4, you're playing in the 4th position of whatever scale is below. All right? The 5 chord is going to be a dominant chord. It's not a major 7. The 5 chord is a dominant 7, and it's clean as well. It'll just be a 13. You could be a 7, a 9, an 11, a 13. All right. So the 5 is the dominant chord. The 1 is a major 7 with no changes. And the 4 is a major 7 with a sharp 11 or a sharp 4. Now, the reason why I say a sharp 11 or a sharp 4, it's the same note. We call it a 4 when we get rid of the 3. We call it a sus4. But if the 3 is in the chord, then that F becomes an 11. All right. Everyone got that so far? Maybe. Yes, everyone understanding that so far? Yes. Yes, Ed. D4 sharp 4. What is the D for? Hey, take care, Mike. Thanks so much for stopping by. All right. So I just want to make sure that people are on the same page, that I'm not losing you guys. You understand what's going on? I don't understand what D4 sharp 4 means. And I'm pretty sure you don't either. Lydian sharp 4. Yeah, people call it the Lydian mode, which is a sharp 4. But you don't, but if you see the chord in a scale, if you see the chord somewhere, I mean, I don't even want to discuss modes. So, the problem I have with modes is people know the names of modes, but they don't understand it. I'm just saying it's way simpler than that. If you're trying to remember the name of a Lydian mode, then you're not getting it, because we're just talking about, you're just starting on the 4th chord. And the 4th chord, I don't care if you start, if you play a C major 7 and I play a G major scale, well, am I playing in the Ionian mode because I started on G? Give me a fucking break. I'm just playing in the key of G. What if I play a C major? What if I play a C add 9 sharp 11, which is the 4 chord to the key of G, but I play an E minor scale? Am I all of a sudden now playing Aeolian mode over the Lydian mode? I'm playing just one thing. I'm playing 7 notes. There's an F sharp in there. I'm starting on the 4 chord. Big deal. Moving on. We're going to take a look at now. So these are 3 in the majors. Now let's take a look at minors. If we looked at a D minor 13, which is all 7 notes of the C major scale, it's the 2 chord. So a 13, when you see a minor 13, it's only going to be a 2 chord. Now, all 3 positions will have a D minor 7. If you have a D minor 9, automatically you know you cannot be the bottom chord in the key of B flat, because it's a flat 9 when the D minor sits in the 3 position. In the 1 and 6, in the 2 and 6 position, the D minor can go all the way out to the 11. In the key, in the regular minor, what we call the relative minor, the D minor is going to have a flat 6 or a flat 13. That is your regular minor. In your, now you could say, yes, it has a flat 3. That's why it's minor. Yes, you could say it's a flat 7. That's why it's not a minor major 7. But beyond that, because we're just talking about looking at the scale, we have a D minor 11. So we know we have the flat 3. We know we have a flat 7. That's what makes it dominant. But the difference between the 2 and the 3, the 2 and the 6, is that 6. Is that B flat or B natural? The third position is also going to have a flat 2 or a flat 9. So if I ask you to play an F minor 13, what key are we in? Yes, D minor 13 is in the key of C. Excellent. Ed Pooner is correct. F minor 13 would be in the key of E flat. It's the 2. No, Ed's right. An F minor 13 is in the key of E flat. Because it's the 2. Tom Milley, if it was an F minor 11 flat 13, it would be in the key of A flat. Do you see? It would be the relative minor is the one that has the flat 13. Hey, Rich. So the minor without the flat 13, what we say with a raised 13 or a raised 6 is the 2. And I'm sure you hear people say the Dorian mode is the mode that has a raised 6. Well, that's the same as the 13. Exactly. But if you're thinking about it in modes, then like when people go to talk to you while you're playing at a gig, I would say right now I wouldn't hire you. Because I know you're not, I know it's a struggle. You know, because you should know that if somebody's playing, anything, if someone's just playing an E minor 13, you would know that's in the key of D. You would just know that's D. That's F and C sharp. It does not matter. It doesn't matter what linear line of mode you want to call it, because to me it's just it's like a bag of Scrabble letters. You know, E minor 13 has 2 sharps, F and C. No, I know. I'm just saying it. I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm saying I know that when people talk modes and they've studied modes, they understand the rule for the modes. But to me, understanding the rule for the modes should come way after you understand the music theory of it. Because I can talk in modes. I just don't think that it communicates well with most people, because the people that understand it don't usually understand the more important part. And so I'd rather when I'm talking music, I want people to understand the language. Not so much, like you could sit there and say, well, yeah, Dorian is a raised 6. Oh, really? What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? If I say to you E flat Dorian, can you play right now without having to think what the notes are? Of course not. You can't. If I said to you play in G Dorian, how long is it going to take you to figure out the key and the scale? You know what I mean? If I say G Dorian, I'm thinking right away I'm 2 on F. So I'm just playing with a B flat. And I would much rather hear someone just say play in the key of F center on G. Oh, no, I know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so if someone says G Dorian, someone that goes, oh, well, Dorian's just the raised 6. Oh, really? Good. Show me what that sounds like in G. You're going to see somebody sit there and be like, because I've done this a million times with students, and what the hell is C sharp major? There's no C sharp major. Well, C sharp major is all 7, but no one, you just call it D flat. Modes are the scales and the chords that go with it. Most of the time, they don't understand cadences and how quickly a major can hijack what you think modes are, what you think are modes. F major. Yeah, F major has a B flat. Yes, Brutus. G Dorian would be F major, but it's just easier to say F major center on G. You can think of modes as the scales. You can, but you could also think of the chord. If I say a D minor 13, that's the whole fucking scale. I don't have to think of it linear. Like people think scale-wise because they want to think of music linear. And I think that's just a bad habit because you don't have to think of it linear. If I look at the D minor 13 chord, that's the key of C. I don't have to look at it linear. I can see it right there. D, F, A, C, E, G, B. I can look at it like it's a C major 7 chord on top of a D minor chord. I could even look at it like I could look at a C major 7 chord with a D minor on the top, and that would be a C13. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really look at it like, I don't have to look at it in a line and say, well, I'm starting on F, because that to me is nuts. Because if all of a sudden someone says to me, we're playing a song and it's a, let's see, a D minor chord. And I'm playing, whatever I play, I'm playing the key, but I'm starting on G. Are people going to say, you're playing the G Dorian over a D minor? No, I'm playing a fucking D minor scale. I'm just starting on G. All the notes of the major scale. Exactly. A 513 is all the notes. Exactly. As you can see here, and Ash, where have you been? Here it is here. C13 on the top is every note in the key of F. Yeah. And a major 13 sharp 11 is everything starting on the 5. And then what is that? Got this feeling. I love that little. But anyways, yeah. So much easier to discuss the tonal center because we're looking at what I call a bag of letters, a bag of notes. They don't have to be linear. You don't have to look at the key of C. I can look at a major like. Right? I don't have to look at it in a line. And I don't like looking at it in a line. And if you don't look at it in a line and I look at a chord, I could also see the C major 13. Like I said, I could see the C major 13. I can play a C major 7. I could play a C major 7 add 13. I could play a D minor over that chord. I could play a B half diminished over that chord. It wouldn't matter. You know, if I'm playing partials and someone has that chord, I could sit there and just be like, on the guitar, if I'm playing some type of 60s, whatever, R&B type of thing, where they always have the high notes. But I could play partials. I don't have to. I could even move around. Could play anything. There's a G chord in there as well. G. There's an E minor. There's a B diminished. There's a D minor. There's a D minor 7. There's all those things. Yeah, you want to see this. Like I said, if somebody asks you to pick a number 1 through 7, you don't sit there and I say eliminate the number. Watch this. Pick a number 1 through 7 in your head and don't pick the number 3. Did any one of you have to count to find your number? And did any one of you have to count from well, let me start with 4 because we took the 3 away? No. Because you think of them all at the same time. Does that make sense to you? Yes, you can look at it as Dorian, but I look at it as the key of G. It's just centered on the A. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you're playing like a no, it's about it. This is the key of G to me. It's 7 notes. There's 1 sharp. I don't think, yes, I'm centering on A minor, and A minor is my center, but I'm more aware that there's 1 sharp than I care about the fact that I'm centered on A. I can hear it. It's, you know what it's like? It's like communicating. If somebody's talking to you and they amplify their voice and you can see them, they're getting well, not even just improvisation wise, maybe even the writing wise or everything wise. For instance, Ash, a person who's playing the music, let's say not improvisation wise, if you saw Moondance written out in sheet music, you would see it with 1 sharp in the leader there. And what would happen in the signature? And then what would happen is the musician playing it would look at you and say, I'm in the key of G. And then you would say, yeah, but you're in A, but A minor is the first chord. And they would look at you and say, so what? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? I'm in the key of G. The clue that it's in the key of G is that there's an F sharp. The first key with a sharp is the key of G that has an F sharp. The second key has a C sharp, which would be the key of D. But because the third chord, if you look up Ed in his chart, it's A minor, B minor over A, C over A. Well, it's a natural C. Yeah, that's exactly right, Brad. It's all you need to know. It's just like if I said to you, pick a number 1 through 7, but don't pick 3. Brad took 3. Yeah, the problem with that, Brad, is most people don't know the fucking key of the song. You know what I mean? Especially you go play with people and they're like, this is in D. And then they stop playing and you're like, yeah, it's not. Yes, the tonal center's A. That's right. That's all I think of. The tonal center's A. So if someone's going, right? And I'm going to set, I can be like, I can do anything. But I just know that note is going to be sharp. And I have 7 notes. But because I know it's in the key of G, and here's Ash, where I disagree with the way you're doing it and why I disagree with it. Because if you say A Dorian without thinking, do you know all 7 triads, all 7 chords with extensions? And you would have to think about it. And the second you have to think about it, that's taking away, that would be like being around a guy that uses big words and you're like, well, what the hell's that word mean? Well, you could treat the tonal center as anything. I mean, you can, as the player, it's up to you. I mean, there are plenty of Sabbath songs in the solo where Iommi treats the 9 as the 1. But what happens is if someone says to me, I'm in the key of G, right? And we're playing well, now I know like I know where everything is. I can play. I just know all 7 chords, all 7 triads, all that, and I'm not thinking. I'm just, it's the same thing for me as if someone were to say, pick a number 1 through 7. I don't have to count the numbers in my head. I can just pick one of the numbers. And if you tell me which number the 3 is not available, well, I now know the 6 remaining numbers. If we alter the 3 and you say, pick a number 1 through 7, but we're not going to use 3, we're going to use 8 instead. People can understand that. Everybody gets that. You don't have to make everything in a line. You don't have to look at something and go, well, if I start on the 2, we're going to call it this. It's the same 7 chords. Yes, it's going to have a different sound, but it still doesn't matter. Thank you, Arnold Lane. God, you know, I hear C. Emily play all the time lately on Sirius XM. So anyway, you can, like, if there's 7 notes, if someone wants to play like a chord like here, like A major 9, right? And let's just say it's just a vamp. Brad, the guitarist, says, "Hey, I'm working on this song, and peripherally aware." Exactly. Except, and I'm aware, exactly. That's exactly right. I'm aware it's in Dorian as well. I just don't think of it that way because the name, it just doesn't mean anything to me. You know what it would be like doing? It would be like, if I was in a rush somewhere and I started walking briskly and somebody said, "You're walking briskly." Yeah, I'm aware of it. I don't need to be told or reminded or even brought to my attention. That's right, A major 9. So I have an A, a G sharp, a C sharp, a B, an E. A major 9. Well, I can treat this chord as the 1 chord, right? I could be like, but I could also treat it like it's the 4 chord. Huh. That's my point, Jan. I don't think the name, I think actually I do think the name matters. I think the mode names confuse guitar players too much. I think they focus on that, and they're focused on, okay, Lydian sharp 4, I know that scale. Well, I don't need you to run up and down scales. In fact, I don't want you to run up and down scales. I just want you to play the fucking song. And so if I'm asking you to play the song, I don't care that you know that it has a raise 4. Oh, you know it's got a raise 4. Great. Well, that's not, to me, it's this. You know, if you know you're playing around a C and F is sharp, you know. Oh, I know, I get you. I get you, Ash. I appreciate it. But what I'm saying is, and I'm not saying what you would do. I'm saying what your point was. I'm arguing against the point of how you said, like, how people would look at it. So, Chris, welcome. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we have, you know, if you know, you're in, here's an A minor add 9. And if the next chord was a D, I know right away I'm in the key of G, right? Because it's a 2-5. But all I'm thinking of is what in the bag that I'm holding of Scrabble tiles with letters. What the hell's in my bag? Now that bag can change Yeah. This is an A minor add 9. From the beginning's an A minor 9. He plays it here. There's a G, which makes it a minor 9. But without the G, it becomes an A minor add 9. You need that dominant 7 to make it a minor 9. So the point what I was trying to show today is that in every major scale, in every major key or scale, well, no, the major keys, the 1 and the 4 are major 7s. The 4 will extend with a sharp 4. The 1 will not. That's right. That's right, Ash. And the 5 chord is going to be your dominant major chord. And that's all the time. And you should be able to figure out every key from that. So if I'm in a song and it starts off and I play an A7, automatically I think I'm in the key of D. Automatically. Now somebody will say we're playing a blues in A. Okay, but I'll be like... Now we go to a D7 or a D9. And I will assume I am now in the key of G. And so I make that C natural. The 5 chord will guide you to where you are. The 5 chord, the dominant chord is your 5. The major 13, all the way up to the 13 is your 1. And all the way up to the 13, if there's a sharp 11, or all the way up to the sharp 11, there is your sharp 5, sharp 4. Exactly, Ash. Right. And then when you get to the E in a blues, the reason the pentatonic will work is because you're playing all that tension against what's the acting 5. And an acting 5 wants tension. So like if people's playing pentatonic, you know what I mean? You have the flat 13, you have the 11, you have the sharp 9, you have the 1, and you have the flat 7. And that would be your A minor pentatonic, why it works over an E7 chord. But that's a little more involved at this point, since we're just trying to show you, I'm trying to show you, that the chords, the 1, 4, and 5 are major. So if you see a piece of sheet music and the opening chord is a major 7 with a sharp 11, automatically, that's the 4 chord of the key. Yeah. All the embellishments, all the fixings, all the trimmings. Wait, what was the it's hilarious. But yeah, so if you're here at G major 7 chord, that's the 1 or 4 of a scale. Now you can follow the next chord and figure out what the key is. I'm trying to show you this is how you would know what key you're playing in. All the chords are giving you insight to the scale. Now, there's always going to be key changes and things like that, where they want you to move things around. They usually do it through a 5. When they'll usually change a chord, which will be the 5 chord of the next key change, which they do in a ton of songs. I mean, it's done so many times, So, the 1 chord is a major 7. It has no change. Nothing is being altered. The 4 chord, it's a major 7. Secondary dominance, exactly. Will be a sharp 11. The 7 chord, the 5 chord will be a flat 7. Okay, so Victor Wooten is saying there's 30 keys. And now the reason why he's saying there's 30 keys is because you have and I kind of disagree. I think there's less, but I'll tell you why. So Victor Wooten says that you have there are seven flat key, seven sharp keys, right? You have C, G, well, C is natural. So you have seven G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp. You have seven sharp keys. You have seven flat keys. That's 14. Sorry, and then you have the no sharps, no flats. That's 15. Then he says they all have minors, and that's wrong. They're the same key. If he's going to say that they all have relative minors, well, then you should say then they have seven scales within them, because the relative minor is the same key, and I think that's bullshit. To me, I think there are 15 keys. And if, like I said, because his argument is if the minors are included, well, then what makes the relative minor to C more important than the D minor in C? I think the D minor in C is important. Maybe the E minor isn't. The 3 isn't that important. But basically, he's saying that there's 15, and he's right, but not mechanically. You know what I mean? It's not mechanically right because, let's say we have the key of C sharp. Yeah, we should know. But it's also the key of D flat. And 99.9% of the time, you're going to see it written out as D flat. Maybe if you're in the key of C. No, even then, they would just call it D flat. So obviously, some are more important than others, I would say. But I would say to him there are 15 keys, and the fact that he's calling 15 minors, I call bullshit. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's bullshit. He's saying you should know. I think you need to know all 15 keys. I agree with that, 100%. And it's easy. Learning 15 keys is easy. Because then afterwards, like, I don't have to learn it in the minor. I know the minor, just like I would know every mode of all 15 keys if I learned the keys, because they would all be in my bag. That's not my bag, baby. They would all be in like the bag of Scrabble tiles, because I don't think of them linear. You know, and most of the time when we play, I think more chord. Like if I'm playing and somebody has like a minor 7 chord, A minor. Well, I could play all around the triads. You know what I mean? It's like, what determines referring to a chord as a flat or sharp? Oh, boy. Ed, so that's called the circle of fifths, and I have a video on it. Just look up my video on the circle of fifths. It'll teach you everything you need to know. Yeah, the root starts everything, but you have to understand. So if you have the key of C, we have no sharps and no flats. When you go to the 5, when we sharp the 7, now we have 1 sharp. We go to the 5, sharp the 7, we have 2 sharps in the key of D, 3 in A, 4 in E, 5 in B, 6 in F sharp, 7 in C sharp. Going the other way, F has 1 flat, B flat has 2 flats, E flat has 3 flats, A flat has 4 flats, D flat has 5 flats, G flat has 6 flats, and C flat has 7 flats. And you should know those, like the back of your hand. Wait, I didn't know that was there. So that's an old airplane joke. But anyways, you should know that. So, because that's speaking the language. Well, that would be out of key. The C sharp minor doesn't exist in the key of G. In fact, there's a G sharp. in the key of in C sharp minor. So yeah, that. Why is jot a D flat? Yeah. A song in G cannot have a C sharp minor. A song, it would not be. Yeah, right. I don't think you meant to put a 6. A sharp 6? What the hell is that? Oh, because a G is a sharp key. A G has sharps. And you would learn that when you learn the circle of fifths, what the sharp keys are. G, D, A, E, B, B, F sharp, C sharp. Flat keys, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat. And so, well, I just go over how to look at the circle of fifths my way, which I got it. Yeah, sharp 4. A minor sharp 4. Sharp 4 minor. It can be. That's all good, Ash. It can be considered a borrowed chord. Borrowed from what? And I would have to see it used in context, because as it is now, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? You could use borrowed chords, or tritone substitutions is another one. Like, you wouldn't see that D, like his example was just pulling it out of the air. But like if you said, like, how is there an A flat in the key of G? That happens because this is a tritone substitution of this. Do you know what I mean? So you will see like an A flat or a G sharp. I would call it an A flat because I flat the 9. There I would call it an A flat because the G is in the scale. So Radiohead Creep, let me see. Creep. Yeah, it uses the major third. You know what I mean? Creep uses the major third, and that's used a lot to, so the reason why it changes the major third, who said that? Rudy's. The reason why it changes the major third is because the major third, when you make it a dominant chord, wants to resolve. The resolution works very similar to a diminished chord, whereas you can go either to the 5, either treat it like it's a 5. In songs you've heard this. No, plagal with a P is a 4-1. So if we do this to a B7, I can go to E minor. See how that resolves nice? It makes the E minor feel like it's the focus. However, a diminished chord and a 7 chord are from the same family. They're very similar. So they treated the same way. A diminished chord, like a diminished 7, wants to resolve a half step up. And so you would get. And now, instead of going to the 5, they go to a 4 minor, which is a 5 chord substitution. So you get, I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. You know? So that's why those chords work. And I talked about this a couple of weeks ago in the song Laughter in the Rain, when he does he goes now he gets to the B7. This is interesting Because Neil Sedaka said he saw somebody else do this, so he wanted to try it and wrote it in this song. Normally, you want to resolve to E. However, if you treat it like a diminished, you can go up to C. What he wanted to do was, he saw Elton John do this once. Instead of going up to C, go to that relative minor. So he said, when he goes, so he drops down to the A minor, which is really in the key of G. A minor 7, D11, G major 7, E minor 9, A minor 7, D11, G major 7. And again, A minor 7, D11, G major 7, E minor 9, C, back to B7, which takes us now back to the root key of E. Okay, so you can look at stuff like that and see that the chords, he's moving chords around. Similarly between 1 and -6. I don't know what people are being talked about. That's like a plague. That type of thing. What is that song? What's that song? So in my lessons, there's a song I taught called Good Days and Bad Days, and it's by P.J. Morton, who is like a preacher and sings some really nice R&B. And I taught the song because I love the chords, because it shows you a progression where if you change the bass notes, it takes you right to church. You know what I mean? The song is, if I took the chords for what they were in the song, it's a C to an E7 to an A minor 7 to a G to a C to an F. Now I'm going to play it again and you'll see what I'm saying, what the feel is like, just so you can hear it. And now how he plays it, the bass is a G over, the C is over a G bass. The E7 is over a G sharp bass. A minor 7. The G is over a B bass. The C, F. So it's like, can you that is right, Ash, it is. And for what people, if they don't know what a secondary dominant is, it's when you change a chord to a dominant chord to move the song into a direction where you want. In this song, the E7 acts as the 5 to the A minor 7, making the A minor 7 feel like the resolution. Yeah, it's great. And using those techniques is great as well. As far as secondary dominance, at this point, I just want you to understand what a dominant chord is. Because I know, Ash, there's other people in here too besides Ash, like guys like Jan. They understand a lot of this stuff. But, you know, I gotta take the net and try to get everybody in the on the boat. So I'm trying to go take it a little slower where people are understanding what a regular dominant is, and understanding how to play over the dominant. One of the things I'm going to do, and it might be next week, is show you how to play jazz, how you can play some real complicated jazz stuff simply by just changing which pentatonic you're playing over certain chords. All right, Johnny, thanks so much. Yeah, well, it's cool. Totally. Yeah, no, that's the whole thing, Ash, is I appreciate you writing that stuff. You don't have to stop. I'm just saying it's, at that point, you and I are having that talk, and maybe two other people can figure it out, but the rest of them are scratching their heads like Ed, thinking it's Greek, and I'm trying to make it so it's not Greek. Yeah, totally, Ed, and that's what would happen. But on the knowing that, Ed, is the battle. That's the battle. Do people know that? Sunday, and not to call Fez out, but Fez was like, yeah, you just play bass over the roots. No, you don't. No, it's not how you play bass. If there's a movement that's going Saturday, I am. Yeah, I'll be playing. I'll be filming it. We'll be up Saturday. So if I want to move from a G, E to A minor, I would do that. That type of thing. Yeah, I'll go live Saturday night, I believe. We're getting a storm here Thursday and Friday, which is nuts because tomorrow it's going to be like 67 degrees or something. And then there's a storm and it's going to be in the 30s on Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday it'll be clear and I'll probably film. They like it there. So yeah, G sharp is good. So like if you're confused about something like that, the point of, and look, I'm just going to bring this up because Ash brought it up. If we look at this here, let me slide over. There we go. If we look at the C to the E7 to the A minor, when we get to the C7, you could say we're borrowing this from the harmonic minor scale because the harmonic minor scale basically raises the seventh tone with the intention of making the 5 dominant. You see what I'm saying? So when you play this, you could play and right now we're right back to the regular minor because G is natural again. So those types of things are cool to know when you're borrowing chords or you're going to use a secondary dominant, that there's a note that's being changed. Yes. Yep. Right? Because if you played this, it's not that it's weak. In fact, there's a lot of, that's, some people think the world is filled with silly. Oh, that's an F major 7. Love songs. Right, when you want to go to the A and you want it to have some sort of landing there, then you want to do what Ash is saying is you want that to make a stronger resolution. So you want to make it the raised, you want that G to be sharp. Nobody knows you. I don't know what song that is. C, E7, A7. Oh, is that a... oh, no, it's... right there. And I like it. It's in I Like It by DeBarge Billy Breeze when he plays the A major 7. Right? We're in C sharp minor. So this is the 4 chord. This would be a 3 chord. But he makes it dominant to act as a secondary dominant to this. one goes. Ooh, and I like it. What is that chord? It's oh no, I know what it is. It's that's the chord. Ooh, and I like it. What is that? Right? And even there, the E he treats as an 11 because we're going to go land back on the 4. Ooh, and I like it. Killer stuff. What I mean, if you did a natural minor, oh, it's not opinion, Ash. That's fact. That's the whole reason why the harmonic minor exists. Harmonic minor exists because the classical musicians did not like the sound of this resolving to this. They wanted, you know. We might play that song. We have 2 gigs next week. Not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. Emily and I have a gig at the Cigar Bar and then at Martini's because Jimmy had to take that weekend off. Way over your head. But anyways, so yeah, it's fun stuff. It's all fun, but it should be easier to see now. And if I go back to the minors, oh, I'll check it out later. Yeah, I think I've seen it before. I used to do it 2 ways. I used to do it with the capo because I think he does it with a capo. And then without the capo would be here. It would be like. What the hell are those chords? Hello. Yeah, it's not much. Oh, what the hell's the next chord? I forget it. I could totally do it. Yeah. I was doing it in A, but it's really in G. But it starts off like. It's one of my favorites, Brad. I always love that piece. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's great. It's just it bounces back. You know, as a kid, when I was first learning theory and I used to listen to classical music, I bought a CD and it had a sampler of all these different things, and that piece was on there, and I'm like, oh, I love this because it goes from dominant a minor dominant to a harmonic minor. Yeah, no, I'll do it. It's a great. We've played it a million times. It's like how about you? Oh, I know what it is. It's, I'm not sure why I called. You see, I really just wanted to talk to you. I was thinking maybe later on. This is without the capo. We could get together for a while. 'cause I really do miss your smile. I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I really want to see you tonight. Oh, really, Brad? Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I really liked. I loved Mozart's probably one of my favorites because I think the cleanest, like the sounds are really like, I love the 40th Symphony. I love that. I love Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony. And yeah, I like a lot of chamber music. I love it too. When I listen to it, usually like I don't remember so many things except for Adagio by Tomasi. Is it Tomasi or Tomas Rollo Tommaso Albanini? It's like yeah, it's killer. So emotional, that piece. Kind of reminds me, there's a Bach. Is it Air by Bach? Ba, ba, da, 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 da. That's a beautiful, yeah, Air on the G string. That's a beautiful piece too. Yeah, Dan Seals does a Ash. I don't know if you've heard Dan Can you guys hear me still? Let me find my my flashlight. You can hear me? They can hear me? All right, cool. All right, let me see what the hell's going on here. Just gonna look out the window here and see where the power is out. Everywhere? Yeah, we're out of power. All right. All right, I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I will see you next week, but I'll see you Saturday when I go live. It looks like the whole block is out. All right. Later, everybody.